What's going on, guys? It's Tom or Top 10 Wrestling here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the other 5 Ric Flair TNA matches. If you want to see part 1 of this, where I look at Flair's first 5 matches in TNA, link in the description to part 1. Before we do get into this video though, I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters, Marky D, Efran Martin and Alan Barkley. Thank you guys for the support. Check out my Patreon, linked below, for more exclusive content. It would really help me out during these trying times if you were to support me on there, and would be really appreciated. But let's get into these matches and talk about Ric Flair's TNA career. Can you call it a career? I mean, he had 10 matches. I guess you can. Let's go. We are starting off with a crazy one here, as Ric Flair takes on Mick Foley in a last man standing match. This took place on the 2010 Before the Glory Impact show, which is basically just the go home show to Bound for Glory. The match is announced as Falls Count Anywhere when it's not. And right from the get-go, literally less than a minute in, Mick Foley is busted open just from punches by Ric Flair. Foley gets back into it though by taking a page of Flair's book and low-blowing Ric Flair, and then hitting him in the face with a barbed-wired bat a few times. And now Flair is too busted open. We're less than 3 minutes into this match, and they're both already bleeding profusely. They begin fighting on the stage, and Foley just begins punishing Flair with the bat, and then Flair pokes him in the eye, and then Flair throws Foley off the stage through a table. What an insane spot that was for these two guys of their age. We cut to a commercial and come back, and they're now back in the ring fighting again. Flair brings out thumbtacks and it's about to get real. However, Foley ends up putting Flair into the tacks with a back body drop. This match is absolutely ludicrous. Flair is 60 going into thumbtacks. Absolutely dumb. Foley then brings out a barbed wired board, and oh god, he runs into Flair with it and gets Flair's chest and face covered in barbed wire. What a horrible sight. He's 60, did I mention that? He's 60. Foley then gets a table out, but then Flair hits him with 2 low blows, sets him up on the table, hits him with the barbed wire board, then climbs to the top rope, and at 60 years old, splashes Foley through the table. Both men get up, but then Flair does his signature bump right onto the tacks, and the bell is rung. Even though there was no 10 count. There was literally no 10 count, but the bell rung, and Foley wins. Overall though, this match was awesome. I loved this match. This probably could have happened at Bound for Glory easily, just as its own match. Like, these guys have a combined age of like 100 or something ridiculous, probably 100 at this time, and they're doing this. Like, they're doing this. Flair is going through thumbtacks. What a ludicrous match. This had no right being as good as it was. For the next match, we have Ric Flair taking on Matt Morgan in a singles match on the 18th of November 2010 Impact episode. I have no idea how we're going to follow the last match that I just watched, but if Morgan wins this match, he gets a world title match between him and Jeff Hardy at Final Resolution. This match was just a basic singles TNA Impact match, just a standard match you'd see on TV. Morgan spends a good portion dominating Flair, but then Flair pushes Morgan into the ref, bumping the ref down, and low blows Morgan, and Flair is now in control. Morgan manages to get back in control by smashing his head on the barricade and biting his head, busting Flair open of course. Then all of a sudden Impact ends, and I now have to watch Impact Reaction to continue this match. Impact Reaction, by the way, was a short-lived TNA show that followed Impact. Occasionally it would have exclusive matches or whatever, but for the most part nobody watched this show. So we go into Impact Reaction, and Morgan hits a chokeslam on Flair, but then Fortune comes down and begins beating down Matt Morgan. The ref is still down, by the way. Doug Williams then turns on the Fortune members and Matt Morgan gets back in control, hits the carbon footprint and pins him just as the ref makes it back in to get the 3 count. Again, like I said, standard TV match here, not much else about it. My main criticism is the ref was down from the start of the match to the very end, just from being pushed. Like, come on. Ric Flair's next match would take place 4 months later on the March 10th, 2011 episode of Impact, and at this point a fair bit had changed as Flair had turned on AJ Styles and Fortune and aligned himself with Matt Hardy and Immortal. And this match is a street fight triple threat match as it's Ric Flair versus Matt Hardy versus AJ Styles. And when Ric Flair comes out, he's in a suit, not in wrestling gear at all, so it looks like he's probably not going to be in the ring that much. AJ Styles comes out and starts, mouthing off against Flair and Hardy. He then says that he hates both Hardys and then punches Matt Hardy in the mouth to start the match. We come back from commercial and Ric Flair is now in street clothes and it looks like he's actually going to involve himself in the match, which is cool. Flair and Styles start going at it and AJ locks in the figure 4 on Flair, but Hardy makes the save with a top rope leg drop. AJ Styles then busts Flair open, because of course he does. Spoiler alert, Flair is busted open in every match in this video, by the way. The numbers game proves too much for AJ Styles though, as Matt Hardy brings out a ladder and a trash can and starts attacking AJ with them, but then AJ counters Hardy and uses the ladder against him. He then starts beating up Flair again, but Hardy hits AJ with the side effect for a near fall. Flair looks to hit Styles with a chair shot, but Styles super kicks him and chops him, all while fighting off Matt Hardy, and AJ is in firm control here, and it looks as if he's about to hit Hardy with a Styles clash on the chair, but Flair low blows him, and Hardy hits him with a twist of hate on the chair, and then lets Flair pin him, so Flair is the one who gets the win. Overall, I thought this match was pretty decent, especially for a TV match. I thought they played the numbers game really well, like not having, AJ Styles look like a big dominant monster, but also not having Flair and Hardy in control the entire time. It was quite an even match without anyone in the match looking weak, so pretty good stuff. The next Ric Flair match took place at TNA Lockdown 2011, and it was a lethal lockdown match as it's Fortune made up of Daniels, Kaz, Bobby Roode and James Storm versus Immortal made up of Abyss, Matt Hardy, Bully Ray and of course Ric Flair. Lethal lockdown matches are always great, so this match should be pretty good, and I'm interested to see how Flair fares in this kind of match. Let's see. Abyss and Kazarian start things off and they go back and forth. Immortal have the man advantage and the next wrestler out is Matt Hardy, so Kaz is now on his own against Hardy and Abyss. Kaz does manage to stay in control for a bit, but the numbers game proves too much for him, and Abyss and Hardy are in control until the next wrestler enters, that wrestler being Christopher Daniels. He gets in and helps Fortune get back in control, but next out for Immortal is Ric Flair himself. I was expecting him to be out last, but he's out now. He comes in, immediately chops Daniels, chops Kaz, hits low blows on them, and Immortal are comfortably in control of the match again, pretty much because of Ric Flair. So thank you, Ric Flair, for helping out Immortal the way you did. James Storm comes out for Fortune. He sprays beer on Abyss, starts taking it to Immortal, smashes the beer bottle on Ric Flair's head, and here is where Ric Flair is busted open in this match, if you are wondering, because like I said, he's busted open in every match in this video. Bully Ray is out as the final member of Immortal, and the 4-on-3 advantage gets Immortal back in the game. Bobby Roode comes out as the final guy for Fortune. The roof is lowered and it's about to get real. Fortune just started beating the crap out of Immortal with weapons. Matt Hardy climbs to the top of the cage and Daniels joins him up there. Hardy back body drops Daniels and he nearly goes off the cage, and my heart literally dropped. I got so scared. Hardy then hits the twist of hate to Daniels on top of the cage and climbs back down into the ring, leaving Daniels up there. Ric Flair, by the way, is getting the piss beaten out of him. He's gotten no offense since the roof came down and is covered head to toe in blood and is just getting destroyed with weapons by everyone else. Daniels then gets back up on his feet from the top of the cage and hits a huge crossbody off the top of the cage to Hardy and Abyss, who are on the outside, and that takes them out for the rest of the match. Oh my god, what is happening? This is crazy. It's now a 4-on-2 match as Hardy and Abyss have been taken out, but Bully Ray, he just starts beating them up on his own and then gives Flair a kendo stick, and Bully Ray and Ric Flair are firmly in the driver's seat and in control of this match. But then AJ Styles comes out to help Fortune. He destroys Bully Ray, Rude locks in the Fujiwara armbar on Flair, and Ric Flair taps out and Fortune win the match. Fun match here, not the best Lethal Lockdown match I've ever seen, but I very much enjoyed it. And of course, one of Ric Flair's better matches in TNA, but that's pretty self-explanatory because, you know, there were 7 other guys in this match. But Ric Flair getting just destroyed was a sight to behold. Now the final match to talk about is Ric Flair's TNA match with Sting. But you know what? Just because I'm a tease, I'm going to talk about it in another video. It will be my final video on Ric Flair in TNA. The reason I'm going to do it in another video is because, well, Ric Flair, his match with Sting wasn't just his last TNA match. This was his actual wrestling retirement match. So we're going to watch it and we're going to compare it to his match with Shawn Michaels, talk about which one's better. I think you already know the answer, but we're going to do that in a separate video. So thanks for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy, smack the like button. Follow me on Twitter at Top 10 Wrestling. My Instagram is at I'm Tom Bell. Check me out on Patreon to help support me. I'm properly doing this upload schedule of every other day. I don't know how I'm managing it. I'm working my butt off. It's literally 2 AM right now, and I'm trying to get ahead on videos so I can take a little bit of a break, if you get what I mean. Why did I say that? You know what I mean completely, just to take a break. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye, and keep on rolling.